好，炸酱面啊，这么快就来了。这么快就来，那就马上开始啦。
Mission loaded.
忘记昨天要干嘛了。找到基地，你下并加油。OK。找到东西加油。
Affirmative. Waiting order. Vehicle report. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
我现在是要直接上河岸嘛
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
有基地车。好，那我直接上岸就好。
Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
讲得好像要打纯海战一样。
Affirmative.
结果
Affirmative.
一开始就要
Report lead.
盖基地了。
Affirmative. At once. Very well. Very well. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. At once. Affirmative. Yes, affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, affirmative. Affirmative.
New construction options.
Yes, affirmative.
Building. Construction complete. New construction options. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
过得去
Acknowledged.
吗？哎，
Yes, sir.
看到鸡巴人了。
Yes, affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Construction complete.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
New construction
Waiting
他们
options.
是哪里？他们只是巡逻。哪里？
Agreed.
Building. Construction complete. New construction options. Building. Our base is under attack.
Yes, sir.
Training.
Orders.
那我会转回来
Unit
打，
ready.
过分。
Training.
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative. At once.
Training. Unit ready. Unit ready. Training. Construction
Sir.
complete.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
New construction options.
哎，
Building. Construction complete. Unit
刚刚
ready.
好差一
Yes, sir.
点。
Building.
我知道，这我该做。
Unit ready. Building.
哎，雷达盖完之后再盖一个金矿场。
Report acknowledged. Affirmative.
Construction
Acknowledged.
complete.
Affirmative.
New construction options. Building. Training. Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Training.
这边有枪。
Unit ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
哎，可以
Acknowledged.
禁止进入。
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Construction complete.
Waiting
Solving.
order.
You did
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Building.
Reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Awaiting orders.
Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Our base is
Acknowledged.
under attack.
Acknowledged.
Construction complete.
Report once.
马上就来。
Unit
Of
ready.
course.
Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Of course. Very well. Yes, sir.
哎，
Very well.
Unit ready.
那边过去就还好。
New construction options. Unit ready.
机场。
Building.
需要进。哦呦，长矛像坦克，
Building.
就是你啦。
Construction complete.
肯定是要有你
Vehicle
的。
reporting.
New construction options. Building.
他没电，别人都走过桥来打了。
Construction
Yes,
complete.
sir. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
说来就来。想说没有海上的人呢，结果说来就来，太过分了。
Building.
Awaiting orders. Affirmative.
Unit
这
ready.
几炮
Construction complete. New construction options. Building.
大概在两台，两台
Acknowledged.
左右差不多。那边有船，
Unit ready. Building.
Reporting. Affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. Vehicle reporting.
Repairing.
Reporting.
Unit repaired.
Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Repairing. Unit repaired. Building. Spy plane ready.
building
Building. Select target. Unit ready.
哪里？
Unit ready.
我的车那个潜艇都走不过去。
Vehicle
Construction
reporting.
complete.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Building. Building. Construction complete. Building.
Reporting. Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
叫飞机来打他，
Unit ready.
还行。
Construction complete. New construction
Reporting.
options.
Affirmative.
Repairing. Unit repaired. Building. Spy plane ready.
Reporting. Comrade. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Reporting.
出去
Ready and
看个
waiting.
路，
Yes, agreed. Affirmative. At
Unit
once.
ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Agreed. Agreed. Of course. At
Our
once.
base is under attack.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative. At once. At once. At once.
Select target.
100是超级武器，这算超级武器哦，这个
Yes, sir.
算
At once. Affirmative. Agreed. Affirmative.
该不会又是2个离岛？
Affirmative.
看起来好像又
Agreed.
是2
Very
个
well. At once. Affirmative. At once. At once. Affirmative.
2个岛。
Affirmative. 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 Very well.
太棒了，
Agreed.
2个岛，一个麻
Affirmative.
烦。
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Silos needed. Building. Construction complete.
满地
Silos needed. Building. Construction complete.
被炮偷打
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Building. Construction complete. Spy
只
plane
爆
ready.
攻击直升机，
Building. Select target. Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Comrade.
Our base is under attack.
Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
往过来偷打，
Repairing.
Awaiting orders. Acknowledged. Awaiting orders. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Awaiting orders. Affirmative.
Our base is under attack. Repairing.
Yes, affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
哎，左下角这边也有，
Repairing.
Yes, acknowledged.
Unit
Yes, sir.
repaired.
有敌人要偷，
Repairing.
Affirmative.
无法的。
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Silos needed.
Affirmative.
Spy plane ready. Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Mission
踩到地
safe.
雷，
Waiting order. Acknowledged.
有地雷，
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Acknowledged.
哦 no 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 no，
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
就算是长毛象也是受不了的，而且那个会对空。
Ready and waiting. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
对
Affirmative.
空不把它射下来。
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Select target.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Affirmative. Vehicle reporting.
谁要开炮？当炮兵，你这个烂炮兵，什么都打不到。
Select target. Silos needed. Building. Silos needed. Building.
我靠，我要这么快？
Construction complete. Unit lost. Building. Construction complete. Unit ready.
飞
Building.
机被打下来，这么痛的吗？
Spy plane ready. Unit ready.
哎、好快！原来是有遮蔽器呀、
Building.
长毛象坦克做多一点，直接撤过去了。
Building. On hold.
多
Cancel.
做一个攻势，
Building.
车的过
Yes,
去。
affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
拜托
Affirmative.
拜托，至少
Affirmative.
路连着
Affirmative.，
Construction
并没有
complete.
路没有连着。
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
太
Acknowledged.
棒了，路没有连
Yes,
着。
sir. Acknowledged.
Spy plane ready.
Yes, acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
这边应该要再盖一个。
Yes, sir.
Our
Acknowledged.
base is under attack.
Yes, sir.
好
Construction
大的胆
complete.
子，
Primary building selected. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Affirmative. Yes,
Unit
sir.
ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Our base is
Acknowledged.
under attack.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
哪里？
Acknowledged.
Acknowledged.
Waiting order. Acknowledged. Reporting. Acknowledged.
Naval unit
Acknowledged.
lost.
Affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative.
哦，家里这招被打，
Repairing.
痛啊！
Repairing.
要
Primary
有
building
人
selected.
手几招这种。
Building. Our base is under attack. Unit ready.
No no no
Building.
no no，
Unit
痛
ready.
啊痛！
Yes,
Building.
sir.
Unit
Yes, sir.
ready. Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Building.
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building. Unit ready.
我们被打，
Repairing.
不要
Repairing.
再打啦！
Reporting. Affirmative.
Repairing.
我是用上岸的方式上来。
Vehicle affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
找到你了，
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
通通给他拆掉。
Acknowledged.
哎，哦，他是用直升机载过来。
Repairing.
OK，
Select target. Reinforcements have arrived. Unit lost.
Ready and waiting. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
哇，我们
Yes,
不
sir.
能对空，
Agree. Affirmative once.
被
Affirmative.
关在里面，
Agree. Yes,
Spy
sir.
plane ready.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
直接派他们去死了。
Select target. Building.
这边哪边好上岸？
Unit ready. Building. Unit ready.
就这里。哎，这里有路连起来。
Report.
突然发现
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
路原来是连起来。
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Building.
路是真的连起来的吗？
Unit
Vehicle
ready.
affirmative.
这
Building.
的话省很多时间。
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Affirmative.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative.
嗯，
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
某种意义
Affirmative.
上的确是连起来。
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready.
Affirmative.
Building. Unit ready. Unit ready. Spy plane
Yes, sir.
ready.
找不到地方
Unit
上岸
lost.
啊！
Affirmative.
哦，这里可以。哦，这里也可以。你上岸的地方好少。
Acknowledged.
Repairing.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit repaired.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Repairing.
地方上岸。
Select target.
Report. Affirmative. Report.
Our
Reporting.
base is under attack.
Affirmative.
Unit repaired.
Report. Acknowledged.
Repairing.
Yes, sir. Yes, acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Waiting. Affirmative. Waiting orders. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Repairing. Unit
Yes,
repaired.
sir. Affirmative.
渔船收这么快，
Acknowledged.
在这边压着。
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Waiting. Acknowledged. Waiting affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Spy plane ready.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Vehicle reporting. Orders. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Comrade. Affirmative. Comrade. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Comrade. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Reporting. Affirmative.
Silos
Yes, sir.
needed.
Affirmative. Reporting.
鱼
Affirmative, sir.
师葬送。
Building. Construction complete. Building. Construction complete. Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Reporting. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Reporting.
Unit ready. Building.
Yes, affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Waiting order. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Waiting order. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, acknowledged. Waiting orders.
感动长毛象。
Report. Yes, sir. Report. Affirmative. Affirmative. Waiting orders.
2号。
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Comrade. Affirmative.
Unit
哎
lost.，
哇！桥被炸断了。
Vehicle acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Our base is under attack.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
OK，under attack。
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Awaiting orders. Acknowledged. Comrade.
直接坦克 落水
Report acknowledged. Comrade. Reporting.
秒杀，最厉害的秒杀。
Comrade. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Comrade.
Building.
人太多了，里面出来。
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Reporting. Affirmative. Waiting order.
Reporting.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Reporting. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready. Building.
Vehicle reporting. Report acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative.
哦，原来这边可以走。
Waiting order.
Oh.
Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Our base
Yes,
is
sir.
under attack.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Vehicle report. Affirmative.
Eh,
Acknowledge.
明
Affirmative.
明有路
Yes,
不
sir.
走。
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Report. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Awaiting. Affirmative.
明明就走得过
Yes,
来，
sir.
走
Acknowledged.
不过来，
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
开什
Vehicle
么
report.
玩笑？
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Our
Acknowledge.
base is under attack.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Waiting. Affirmative. Affirmative. Report. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
No，
Affirmative.
电脑的智
Awaiting.
商不够
Acknowledge.
了，
Acknowledge.
只要走大一点的门。
Yes, sir. Reporting.
Our base is under attack.
Acknowledge.
又被打，
Building.
他怎么穿过去？
Construction complete.
我这群鱼雷没有人想要打他。
Acknowledge.
Silos
Yes, sir.
needed.
天哪！
Acknowledge.
Repair. Repair.
Comrade. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Waiting. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Vehicle report. Acknowledge. Comrade.
Our base is
Acknowledge.
under attack.
哪里又被打？
Repair.
Comrade. Reporting.
我没办法，
Acknowledge.
看到的时候要记得结果，
Vehicle report.
来不及。
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledge.
Silos needed.
Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Acknowledge.
Building.
就开始
Building.
几个机场，
Unit ready. Building. Construction complete.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledge.
Unit ready. Building. Building. Building.
building
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building. Construction complete. Unit ready. Unit lost. Unit ready. Building.
Awaiting
Repair.
assistance.
Unit lost. Unit repaired.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready. Building.
Vehicle acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Comrade. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Comrade.
Mission
Okay.
saved.
Awaiting
来
orders.
出发，
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
踏平他们了。
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Awaiting orders. Affirmative.
踏平
Affirmative.
喽！
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir.
没有，
Unit lost.
也是蓝色，这明明就不能用百姓建筑，明明是专有警。干一下回退。不要再偷打我家了，家被偷打。
Unit lost.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Naval unit lost.
Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Silence is needed.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative.
Naval unit lost.
Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged.
Silence is needed.
哦，我们这边
Yes, sir.
这边有
Acknowledged.
无家可归的坦克啊。
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
哎，白痴，他这边有坐船坞，不要跟我讲说这个封闭海域里面有船哦，这边过不去，只能走海滩。
Building. Construction complete. Silence is needed. Building. Construction complete.
Awaiting coordinates. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
纳尼？
Affirmative.
这下是真的纳尼了。
Comrade. Acknowledged. 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 Acknowledged.
拿一个炮台就对，
Mission accomplished.
没事了。偷藏一个炮。嘣嘣。样。不用换前提啊，电脑都是后知后觉，潜水艇都跑到你的船下面了，正下方也没感觉。
Play it again.
I want it.
Oh.
The Allies are calling it chronosphere technology. My sources tell me it is done with extremely high energy signals.
I want it.
Come, how?
I'm surrounded by idiots. Do whatever it takes. Take it from them, Nadia. Tell your spies I want detailed plans. If they had not allowed Einstein to snap our fingers, that weapon would be ours now.
兄弟会首领怎么跟二代一样？旁边的辅佐叛变。
Comrade, we do have a lead. An allied base outside SETI is sending out very strong energy signals. I believe this is where the chronosphere hides. There are 3 separate control centers we've identified there.
Take control of all 3. Do not allow them to destroy that which is rightfully ours. General?
Reinforcements have arrived. Reinforcements have arrived.
Yes, sir.
酷派样，
Ready and waiting. Agreed.
酷
Very well.
best，
Reinforcements have arrived.
Affirmative. Of course. Yes, sir.
直接强力法，
Affirmative. Yes, sir. At once. Agreed. Very well. Acknowledge. At once. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. At once. Of course. Affirmative.
还
Yes,
想要偷
sir.
你
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. At once. Yes, sir. At
这个
once.
这个防御大炮就是个笑话，连步兵都打不死。
Affirmative. Waiting orders. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. At once. Affirmative.
order，
Affirmative. Very well.
这边有
Agreed.
宝石，
Agreed. Affirmative. Very well. Affirmative. Waiting orders. Affirmative.
这个
Affirmative.
其实有点整。
Affirmative. Agreed. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative.
New construction options.
Yes, sir. At once.
Building.
Affirmative.
Construction
At once.
complete. New construction options. Building.
Reporting well. Affirmative. At once. At once. Affirmative. Very well. At once. Very well. Agreed. Affirmative. Very well. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Agreed. Very well. Affirmative. Very well.
Construction
Very well.
complete. New construction options. Building.
Acknowledged.
Construction
At once.
complete.
Affirmative. At once. Yes, sir.
落单的火箭的，
New construction options. Building.
Yes, sir. Waiting orders. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Construction
Affirmative.
complete.
哎，我差一个，难过了。
Building.
Awaiting orders.
Silos needed.
宝石挖太快，
Construction complete. New construction options.
宝石是金矿的2倍钱，
Building.
有够赚的。
Building.
Acknowledged.
黄
Affirmative.
黄金好像
Unit
7块，
ready.
然后宝石就1400。
Construction complete. Building.
Yes, sir. At once.
Construction complete. New construction options. Building.
哦，哎，这张图
Construction complete
比较长。
New construction options. Building.
等下坦克做一做，就直接可以撸过去
Building. Building. On hold.
这个吧，
Cancel.
我等
Construction
电
complete.
梯的长毛象坦克。
New construction options. Building.
Ready and waiting.
Unit lost.
Affirmative.
不要再
Acknowledged.
把我的士兵们碾烂了。
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Our base is
Acknowledged.
under attack. Building.
怎么样？上面也过来，过分了。
Ready and waiting. Very well. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready.
Affirmative.
Spy plane
Reporting.
ready.
Agreed.
Credits stolen.
走上路，
Repairing.
诶，
Building.
钱被偷了。那刚才有出间谍哦，
Yes, sir. At once.
Insufficient
我
funds.
操！
Waiting order. Affirmative.
不
Affirmative.
愧是间谍
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
完全没发现。
Select target.
他走， 哎、他是从那地图外特殊召唤的，不公平。有了，对面还有海，
Construction
过
complete.
问了。哎、刚才我做错了，
Cancel.
我刚刚要做什么？把
Building. Construction complete. Building. Construction complete.
Acknowledged.
Building.
哎、我有做
On hold. Cancel.
飞行哦，
Building.
没有停机
Spy plane ready.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Very well.
不要啊，
Construction
一
complete.
直被打。
Building. New construction
这样可以
options.
做，哎、这样没有，只有食物直升机。
Unit ready.
Reporting
Building.
well. Affirmative.
Insufficient
Sebastian,
funds. Building.
Comrade. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Select target. Select target. Reinforcements have arrived. Unit lost.
能不能打飞机啊？
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir.
Unit
Very well.
ready.
Affirmative. Of course.
Unit
Affirmative.
lost.
Yes, sir.
你们是牺牲会记得的。
Construction complete. Building.
哇，钱是真的挖的慢，难得。
Awaiting orders. Affirmative. Affirmative. At once. At once. Affirmative. At once.
Building.
Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Spy plane
Affirmative.
ready.
Acknowledged.
Construction complete.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Insufficient funds. Unit ready. Building.
Waiting. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Select target.
Awaiting orders.
Unit ready.
Reporting. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
这边有照，
Select target. Unit lost.
Awaiting orders. Yes, sir.
我
Acknowledged.
怪怪地雷车，
Affirmative.
Mission saved. Building.
Yes, sir.
来
Affirmative.
出发了，兄弟
Acknowledged.
们！
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Spy plane ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
地兔火箭的出现杀实在太厉害，
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
一发半条命
Affirmative. Reporting.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir.
靠
Awaiting
腰踩
orders.
地雷，
Acknowledged.
Unit lost.
Affirmative.
踩到
Insufficient
坦克车
funds.
爆了。
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Acknowledged.
Unit
Acknowledged.
lost.
Affirmative.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Unit lost.
要这样遮了又遮，遮了又遮，你们怎么会有这种奇怪的车？怎么这种车啊？一直闪，一直闪，小型的隐秘车，占领科技中心，拆除所有陷阱。我要看，仔细看它的科技中心在哪。
Silos needed.
所以
Select
这
target.
边有另外一个基地。
Silos needed.
好像也不是。
Awaiting orders. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
会加修个
Silos needed. Building. Construction complete. Building. Building. Construction complete. Building. Construction complete. Building. Construction complete. Unit ready. Building.
Awaiting orders.
Select target. Unit ready. Building. Reinforcements have arrived. Construction complete. Unit lost. Spy blade ready.
At once. Very well. Yes, sir.
飞弹们打不死的士兵。
Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Very well. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Building.
置换时
Unit
断
lost.
断烂了。
Select target.
这边就没了。我们下面会来一些奇怪的士兵。
Unit ready. Building. Insufficient funds. Select target. Unit ready. Building.
Awaiting orders. Acknowledged.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
那边弄个围栏，还有会放个箱子什么之类的。
Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Spy blade ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Report acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
飞弹车走太快了。
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
好，其实全面乱打。
Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Unit
Affirmative.
lost.
Acknowledged.
他这边桥被炸断了。
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
其
Acknowledged.
他路是接的。
Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit
Affirmative.
lost.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
OK，有盖船。怎么每个地
Acknowledged.
方都要盖船？
Acknowledged.
船屋。
Select target.
我就要一路往右边盖，盖过去。盖这个好像
Unit
比较爽，
lost. Building. Construction complete.
可是好像没有特别远。
Cancelled. Building. Construction complete.
两边价钱一模一样。
Building. Construction complete. Building. Construction complete.
对了，一支兵1秒。
Spy plane ready. Building.
Building
Construction complete.
哪里？距离不够远。
Cancelled. Building.
Waiting order.
Construction complete.
Affirmative.
Building. Construction complete. Silos needed. New construction options. Our base is under attack. Building. Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Building.
Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
这里哪里可以上？这里。
Our base is under attack.
Yes, affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Repairing.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
哦，这两边都可以上来。
Yes, sir. Affirmative. 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 Report acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Our base is under attack.
Acknowledged.
Repairing. Silos needed.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Select target. Silos needed. Our base is under
Waiting
attack.
orders. Affirmative. Waiting order.
Silos
Affirmative.
needed.
Yes, sir.
Naval
Acknowledged.
unit lost.
Affirmative.
Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Naval unit
Acknowledged.
lost.
这
Acknowledged.
傻屌潜艇在干什么？
Yes, sir.
Unit
Yes,
ready.
affirmative.
白白被打。
Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
那没了，
On
Affirmative.
hold.
省一点
Cancel.
钱啊。
Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Report. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, acknowledged.
Building. Unit ready. Unit ready. Building. Spy
Waiting
plane
order.
ready.
Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Waiting
Building.
affirmative.
Unit ready. Building. Select target. Reinforcements have arrived. Unit ready. Building.
对，留下来的士兵都不一定。
Waiting orders. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Very well. Affirmative. Very well. Of course. Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Building. Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir. At once. Yes, sir. At once. At once. Of course. Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very well. Yes, sir.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Comrade, acknowledge. Reporting. Comrade, acknowledge. Waiting order. Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Comrade, acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Comrade, acknowledged.
然
Comrade,
后进得快都要一直一直点。
vehicle reporting. Waiting order. Affirmative.
然后做记得做工程师，
Unit
Vehicle
ready.
reporting. Yes,
记得
sir.
不要打爆，
Waiting
Unit
orders.
ready.
研发中
Waiting
Training.
acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Comrade, affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
按顺序排队很难啊。
Report acknowledged. Waiting order. Reporting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, affirmative. Waiting affirmative.
还有谁呀、哦
Yes,
刚
sir.
刚好2台火箭车。
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Reporting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Vehicle affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Select target.
Yes,
哎，
sir. Affirmative.
我刚好那边有那
Acknowledged.
个
Affirmative.
科技中心，
Affirmative.
从下面来好了。
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Report. Affirmative. Waiting order. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Report. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Vehicle acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Naval unit lost.
Yes, affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Awaiting vehicle report. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Report. Acknowledged. Report. Waiting affirmative.
不
Yes,
是你的
acknowledged.
潜艇，
Yes, affirmative. Comrade, acknowledged.
Spy plane ready.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Awaiting orders. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, affirmative. Report. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
啊，不然
Mission
哦
failed.
我的点看，完蛋了。不小心点歪了，
Mission loaded.
耶！
Yes, sir.
Yung
Waiting
decent tama.
affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Spy plane
Acknowledged.
ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
2个 V2 火
Acknowledged.
箭直接送他
Acknowledged.
再见，
Affirmative.
太
Acknowledged.
难过了吧？
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
小兵想干什么？
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
妈的嘞！
Building.
Awaiting
Unit
orders.
lost.
Acknowledged.
我这边要
Acknowledged.
Construction complete.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit
Acknowledged.
lost.
Affirmative.
这边要重打。
Unit lost. Building.
Awaiting orders.
Unit
Acknowledged.
lost.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Construction
偏多的话，
Reporting affirmative. Very well. Affirmative.
Unit
暂
ready.
时卖掉。
Training.
Yes, sir. Very well.
Unit
Oh,
ready.
nice.
Affirmative.
Training.
Course.
硬砍，
Affirmative.
而且他还没有限制说一定要
Training.
Very well.
一定要50%，不
Affirmative.
是50%，他
Yes,
限
sir.
制说一定要脱离战斗，
At once. Yes, sir. Of course. Yes, sir.
边打边回死，会过分。
Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Ready and waiting.
打一下应该不会
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
打到
Agreed.
房子，
Silos needed.
Affirmative.
把它占下来。
Silos needed. Silos needed. Building. Construction complete. Unit lost. Building. Construction complete. Unit lost. Building. Construction complete. Building. Construction complete. Building. Construction complete.
这边是这样。
Affirmative.
New construction options.
Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Awaiting knowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative.
你不要乱打我家的
Acknowledge. Affirmative.
东西哦。
Building.
Vehicle acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Construction complete.
来点得到。
Repairing.
Vehicle report. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
这边
Building.
就这边盖基地了。
Construction complete.
Yes, acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
New construction options. Mission saved. Our base is under attack. Building. Spy plane ready.
有
Repairing.
在偷打我的基地了。
Yes, sir.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready.
Acknowledge.
Building.
Comrade. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative. Comrade. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready.
这
Affirmative.
边
Building.
看
Acknowledged.
是看一遍。
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
感觉这边应该要放一个箱子之类的，
Unit ready.
就没箱子。
Our
Acknowledged.
base is under
难
attack.
过。
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Repairing.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Repairing. Our base is under attack.
Comrade.
Building.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Building.
Report acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Report acknowledged. Yes, affirmative.
Construction complete. Primary building selected. Building. Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building. Unit ready. Building. Unit
Yes, sir.
ready.
Acknowledged.
Building. Unit
做
ready.
这个的话，它
Building. Construction
会时
complete.
间吗？
New construction options.
哎，会。
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
还有医疗兵。哎，等一下工程师派过去
Yes, acknowledged. Affirmative.
打之前要
Acknowledged.
再选个
Affirmative.
档。
Affirmative.
怕我不小
Acknowledged.
心右手撇啊，
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
手撇就全部曝光
Acknowledged.
光。
Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged.
3个科技中心，一个都不能少。
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Awaiting orders. Report. Affirmative. Awaiting orders. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Awaiting orders. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Report. Acknowledged. Reporting.
Building. On hold.
Yes, sir.
Cancel.
Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Vehicle reporting.
Unit ready. Building.
Comrade. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Reporting. Acknowledged.
Training. Unit ready.
Vehicle reporting.
Building. Primary building selected. Training.
Reporting.
Insufficient
Reporting.
funds. Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Training. On hold.
Report.
Cancel.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building. Mission
Reporting.
saved.
Awaiting orders. Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Report. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
太狠了，方向坦克
Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative.
秒杀，
Affirmative.
小心旁边那个基地，有他，
Acknowledge.
Construction complete.
我等下就打过去。
Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative.
哎，
Acknowledge.
这么久，
Affirmative.
苏
Acknowledge.
联的奇葩，
Affirmative. Affirmative.
那个苏联实
Affirmative.
在太快乐了。
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
长毛象好快乐，
Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative.
所以我不要手柄。
Mission saved.
Affirmative. Acknowledge.
然后中间那个也是要站起来。
Acknowledge. Affirmative.
你看这边超时空传送，
Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Mission failed.
我没打哎，干。什么时候这么乖，会自己去打别人的单位的？
Yes,
我
sir.
吐了。
Affirmative. Affirmative. Vehicle reporting.
住手！
Yes,
不
sir.
要再打
Affirmative.
了。
Acknowledge. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Comrade. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Vehicle
不小
reporting.
心点起来。
Acknowledge. Affirmative. Report. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
好，工程师们，
affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
工程师，我全部叫工程师好了
Unit ready，
我怕
Training.
一不小心
Unit ready.
就
Unit
把电
ready.
脑打烂。
Training.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Unit ready. Training. Unit ready. Unit ready. Training. Unit
Yes, sir.
ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Unit ready.
Reporting.
Training.
Affirmative.
Unit
Yes, sir.
ready.
Acknowledge.
Unit
到
ready.
时候要
Training.
哦，盟军已经在超时空传送器按上，
Yes, sir.
Unit
Acknowledge.
ready.
原来是自爆装置啊！
Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Unit
Yes, sir.
ready.
Affirmative.
Training.
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Reporting.
原来不
Unit
是我
ready.，
凶手原来不是我。
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Engineering. Affirmative. Engineering.
这个工程师刚刚好。
Low power.
Affirmative.
Timer started.
这血油要压的这
Warning,
么
5 minutes remaining.
这么低的
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Construction complete.
Affirmative. Engineering. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Engineering. Awaiting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Warning, 4
Acknowledged.
minutes remaining.
哎呦，原来有倒数时间的，
Yes,
我自己都没仔细看
affirmative.。
快快快快快快！
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
就他妈的，就他妈的，
Acknowledged.
这边有一个
Acknowledged.
北西，
Engineering. Affirmative.
Preparing.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Warning, 3
Affirmative.
minutes remaining.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
不要再打啦！再打我的那个要爆掉了。
Mission accomplished.
哦，滚！没事，别人打痒痒的。
I cannot believe they would risk keeping Einstein in such a poorly defended area.
Believe it or not, they did. And now we have him. The transmitter is undetectable and has a range of 500 miles.
What makes you think the Allies will try to rescue him? Certainly they think he died in the attack on the base.
That would have been true, had I not leaked information about Einstein's capture and scheduled execution. The Allies will come for their prize.
And we will be able to track him through his watch.
Yes, comrade, and he will lead us right to the chronosphere.
Einstein is gone,
Hey.
comrade.
哎，说好的不能传人呢？
Allied coordinates coming in now.
靠！
With the chronosphere and the Iron Curtain, soon we will stand invincible.
说好的不能传
Prepare a
人呢？
strike team.
Be careful. The Allied radar automatically sends a destruct code to the chronosphere if an intruder is detected. If you are detected before the radar is captured, we could lose the chronosphere.
Losing the
有现实。
chronosphere is not an option.
知道了，知道了。
Reinforcements have arrived.
Yes, sir. Awaiting orders.
我们在差不多右上角。
Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative.
别人眼睛都撇了。
Acknowledge. Acknowledge.
白痴，白痴，那台车超白痴的。
Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. 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 Affirmative.
那台车也太搞了吧！
Acknowledge. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Yes, sir.
就
Acknowledge.
是我玩盟军的时候就没有那个搞人的车，不过
Affirmative.
对电脑来说好像也没什么用，就是了
Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Construction complete.
Affirmative.
直接送你一个战争迷雾，什么都看不到。
New construction options. Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledge. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
这还要
Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Good.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Construction complete. New construction options. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Construction complete. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
打这个难度应该
Yes, waiting. Acknowledged.
应该
Affirmative.
不用深入。
Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative.
Construction complete. Building. On hold. Cancel. Building. Construction complete. New construction options.
Awaiting orders.
Building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Construction complete. New construction
Yes, sir.
options.
Acknowledged.
哎，
Affirmative.
搭船来，
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
被打了，被打了，
Affirmative.
快跑
Acknowledged.
快跑！
Building. Building.
Yes, sir. Reporting.
Unit
Yes, sir.
lost.
Reporting.
高一
Affirmative.
台，
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building. Construction complete. New construction options. Unit ready.
科技中心
Building.
就有天骑坦克，下面还在集结。
Vehicle report. Acknowledged.
Construction complete. New construction options. Building.
哎，铁木装饰可以玩。
Building.
哇，长毛象加铁木，谁打得赢？
Construction complete. Unit ready. Building. Construction complete. New construction options. Building.
米格战机
Unit ready.
做维修中心。
Building.
在做
Unit ready.
Reporting.
Building.
Affirmative.
Insufficient funds.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Reporting. Affirmative. Comrade. Affirmative.
哼，惹到他们。
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Spy plane ready.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
别人也知道先打那台 V2 坦克，妖
Select
兽炮
target. Construction complete. Unit ready.
啊，这里什么都没有。
Vehicle report. Affirmative. Waiting order. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Spy plane ready.
Affirmative.
Select target.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
哦，找到基地了。
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
哦，这边
Acknowledged.
有浅单，
Affirmative. Affirmative.
这几个浅单他都会跑过来。
Affirmative.
最讨厌的那一种。哎，
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
白痴，这边有
Affirmative.
有那个隐藏坦克。
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Our base is under attack.
Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir.
白痴隐藏坦克。
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Spy
Affirmative.
drone ready.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Repairing. Select target. Reinforcements have arrived. Mission failed.
干这么刚好，我操！白痴嘞，我才刚盖好而已，这么刚刚好，那个降下来就是传送器哦。
Reinforcements have arrived.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Awaiting orders. Affirmative.
New construction
Vehicle reporting.
options.
金价北极，
Yes, sir.
Construction complete.
Affirmative.
New construction options. Building.
Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Reporting. Acknowledged.
那也真
Construction
好
complete.
好烦哦。
New construction options.
Affirmative. Vehicle reporting.
Construction complete. Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Construction complete. New construction options. Building.
Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Construction
Acknowledged.
complete.
是搭船过来还是直接跑过来？
New construction options. Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Affirmative.
Construction complete. New construction options. Building. Building.
Yes, acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Building.
Acknowledged.
Construction complete. Building. Unit ready.
Yes, affirmative.
Building.
Awaiting orders.
Construction complete. Unit ready. Building.
下面一图，
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Building. Construction complete. New construction options. Building. Building. On hold. Cancel. Construction complete.
要盖铁幕嘛？
Building. Building.
Affirmative.
Walk right in.
Acknowledged. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
我看有没有
Acknowledged.
连选
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Construction
Acknowledged.
complete.
Acknowledged.
对
Affirmative.
桥
Affirmative. Yes, reporting. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Spike lane ready.
哦，这边可以打。
Yes, sir. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
哎，这边的坦克原来不是一开始就死在这
Affirmative.
里。
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
还有什么
Spike
没做？
lane ready.
Yes, affirmative.
Silos needed. Building.
Waiting order.
Building.
Yes, affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Waiting
Acknowledged.
order.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
这边
Acknowledged.
是
Affirmative.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready.
Affirmative.
Building. Construction complete.
每个地方都有那个
Yes, acknowledged.
Unit ready.
长照，
Building. Iron curtain
这个才2
charging.
个宽哦，
Low
这么
power.
小一个，
Building.
对爆破卡车无效。这个游戏还有爆破卡车，
Unit ready.
怎么都没有看到这个游戏有爆破卡车。
Building. Building. Construction complete.
消灭雷达圆顶，切断超时空联系。OK，
Mission saved. Select target. Reinforcements have arrived. Unit ready. Building.
Waiting
Construction
order.
options.
Yes, sir.
Unit lost. Unit lost.
太歪了，
Spike lane ready. Unit lost.
Of course.
Unit lost. Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
干
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
偷打，
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
想说是场在偷
Acknowledged.
打，
Waiting order.
有什么东西没盖？
Select target. Silos needed. Building. Construction complete. Silos needed. Building. Construction complete. Building. Construction complete. Building. Construction complete. Building. Building. Construction complete.
盖得到吗？盖得到。盖中间好。
New construction options. Building. Unit ready. Building.
Affirmative. Waiting acknowledged.
Waiting order。
Mission saved.
Vehicle
Unit
reporting.
ready. Building.
Acknowledged.
Spike lane ready.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
长毛象坦克的对空飞弹已经很收敛，
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
这都10几台打那个飞机，一套还没死。
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Building.
Comrade.
哎，哇，这样是不是过不去了？
Vehicle report. Acknowledged.
发现说这个好像过不去。
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Waiting for affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Comrade. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Comrade. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Iron curtain ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
不用盖船，
Affirmative.
盖
Affirmative.
船可以。
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
第一个
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged.
长毛象坦克太舒服了吧。
Unit ready. Building.
哎，这边是不是还有偷场？这边是那个超时空路。
Unit
Yes,
ready.
sir. Acknowledged.
Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Mission fail.
啊？哈，哇，
Mission
这
loaded.
好是有运气这么好的啦！
Building. Spy plane ready. Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Acknowledged.
Unit
然后
ready.
侦察飞机飞过去，
Acknowledged.
On
不要算
hold.
我的锅。
Building.
Reporting. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
真的是太猛了，
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
这是给我
Acknowledged.
惊喜，满满的惊喜。
Unit ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Unit
Affirmative.
lost.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Building ready.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
一直遮，一直遮，
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
怎么这么害羞啊？
Acknowledged.
一直遮，
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Building. Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Affirmative.
Our base is under attack.
Affirmative.
Construction
Acknowledged.
complete.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Preparing.
仁兄在
Yes,
这
sir.
边啊，
Acknowledged.
偷打我
Unit
这样，
ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
这样子少一半时间。
Report acknowledged.
26.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Acknowledged.
这游戏把他们的金
Affirmative.
矿、
Acknowledged.
金
Affirmative.
矿、采矿产占下来，就算
Acknowledged.
了。
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
这个游戏
Affirmative.
好像还不错，
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
抢球。
Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Training. On hold.
Yes, sir.
Cancel.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready.
Affirmative. Vehicle
Training.
acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready. Training.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Training.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Training.
Sir. Waiting for acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready. Training.
Acknowledged.
Unit
Yes,
ready.
acknowledged.
Training.
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Training.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready.
Affirmative.
Training.
Affirmative.
Unit
小
ready.
金炮弹
Training.
Acknowledged.
站起来，然后
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
建筑厂站起来，明显也可以卖，
Affirmative.
不然就是可以玩他们家的。
Affirmative.
这个站起来应该会多钱，毕竟它矿是存在里面的。
Affirmative.
我看好像有多一点。
Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Building. Construction complete. Primary building selected.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Training.
这边站起
Unit
来
ready.
当前线工厂。
Building. Unit ready.
Report affirmative.
Training.
Acknowledged.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready. Training.
Vehicle
Unit
acknowledged.
ready. Unit ready.
Engineering. Affirmative. Affirmative.
New construction options.
Affirmative.
Construction
哎
complete.
全部住进去，不是浪费，
Low power.
全部通通给我住进去。
Training. Building. Unit ready. Construction complete.
Affirmative.
我铁幕还没做对不对？我有做。这样你有没有敌人的
Building.
超级武器啊？
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
应该是不会有。
Affirmative.
Construction complete.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
这边
Acknowledge.
要小心，不能一不小心就摸到那个传
Yes,
送
sir.
器，
Acknowledge.
摸
Affirmative.
到就完
Acknowledge.
蛋。
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
New construction options.
还有遮蔽器可以玩，
Building.
还有什么可以玩？
Construction complete.
创造一个战争迷，
Low power. Cannot deploy here.
这
Select target.
个侦察机有个白痴的，这个死掉，然后飞机死掉的人员跳下来，然后直接算我输。
Training. Unit ready. Training. Unit ready. Unit ready.
Vehicle report.
Training.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready.
Acknowledged.
对啊，
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
盟
Affirmative.
军的，
Acknowledged.
我是想说
Acknowledged.
可不可以
Affirmative.
做他们
Acknowledged.
的超时
Affirmative.
光？
Acknowledged.
只不过这是主线模式，应该没有那么白痴。
Affirmative. Affirmative.
扔下来就直
Affirmative.
接
Acknowledged.
偷科技。
Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
完蛋了，
Sniper ready.
再见了，坦克们，
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
小心！
Acknowledged.
Silence needed.
Acknowledged. 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 Comrade? Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged.
放他一个人在那
Awaiting
边，
affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Silos needed. Our base is under attack.
我刚应该给他一个无限可及玩下来。
Silos
Acknowledged.
needed.
Awaiting orders. Affirmative.
Repairing.
Waiting order. Acknowledged.
Silos needed.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
但是地图外军人
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
可以上
Acknowledged.
得去吗？可以，那怎么会上？
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Reporting.
Select target. Reinforcements have arrived. Silos needed.
Yes, sir.
Unit
Reporting.
lost.
Very well. At once. Very well.
Silos needed.
Ready and waiting. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
没事啊，你家小兵超级厉害。
Very well.
Silos needed.
At once. Very well.
Building. Construction complete. Unit lost. Building. Construction complete.
Reporting. Affirmative. Reporting. Yes, sir.
Unit
Yes, sir.
lost.
At once.
Unit lost.
OK，没电，啊，没电了。
Select target.
现在不确定的是这边还有没有那个雷达，应该是没有。
Mission saved.
Yes. Affirmative. Yes, acknowledged. Comrade? Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative.
Silos needed.
Comrade? Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Spy plane ready.
Yes, sir.
Silos
Affirmative.
needed. Silos needed.
Acknowledged.
Objective mission accomplished.
哦，没事没事，safe safe。
This was not to happen. The chromosphere was to be ours. Now all we have is a pile of
又爆
debris.
了，
You, General, are to blame.
He failed to deactivate the radar centers. I believe he is aware of the
我没有
punch.
关。
Take him out and shoot him. Get him out of my sight.
Comrade Stalin, the general is not responsible for the destruction of the chromosphere. I personally monitored his actions.
And who then would be to blame? Clearly, the general is at fault.
Niet, comrade. It was you who failed in your actions. You did not inform the general of the other Allied transmitter that was nearby.
Is this true, Kuko? Was there a fourth transmitter?
We did not notice it on the first pass, but yes.
You disappoint me, Kukov. If the chronosphere is not to be ours, then let it be buried with the remains of the Allied dogs. Where are they? Nadia, where's their base of operations located?
We have traced Einstein's signal. He has moved to the coast of England. It must be the center of the command.
General, consider this your redemption. You are to lead the attack on the Allied headquarters. Level it! Destroy forever all traces of the Alliance.
Comrade Commander,
Continue! Comrades. And you will find yourself on the floor with Kukov. Assemble a strike team. A continental Soviet Union is our destiny.
一下来就被打。
Reinforcements have arrived. Reinforcements have arrived.
没事，长毛象坦克湖南市。
Unit lost.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
当我的那个基地车，
Affirmative.
当我
Acknowledged.
基地车
Affirmative.
没有。
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
哎，
Acknowledged.
偷偷上岸。
Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative.
lost.
过分。
Acknowledged.
我在最左边还是最右边？我在最右边。
Affirmative.
稍微开车。
Report affirmative.
把图看一
Acknowledged.
下
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
New construction options.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Building. Construction
Acknowledged.
complete.
Affirmative.
New construction options. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
很多
Acknowledged.
钱。
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Construction
Acknowledged.
complete.
其实两个
New construction
矿
options.
场应该够用。
Building.
Report knowledge.
时
Affirmative.
冲天
Acknowledged.
骑可能
Affirmative.
弹猫
Acknowledged.
像坦克。
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
这块贴图怪怪，快掉。
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Construction complete. Building. Construction complete. Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Waiting
Yes,
for
sir.
affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Construction
在
complete.
右下角
Affirmative.
，affirmative，
New construction options. Building. Construction complete. New construction options. Low power. Building.
Vehicle reporting.
Affirmative.
Silos needed.
Acknowledged.
哦，这关2万块哦，这关给这么多钱，
Construction complete. New construction options.
Vehicle
Affirmative.
reporting.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Comrade.
Construction complete.
Acknowledged.
就把
Our
所有
base
钱
is
都
under
派上
attack.。Building. Construction complete. Building.
Comrade. Acknowledged.
Reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Repairing. Construction complete. Building. Our base is under attack.
Yes, sir.
Construction complete. Building. Construction complete. Repairing.
白痴啊！又有东西在乱开炮，
Repairing.
哪边啊？
Waiting affirmative.
这把有点麻烦，
Building.
钱很多，可是东西做的不够快。
Our base
Yes,
is
sir.
under attack.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Construction complete.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Comrade. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, affirmative.
Silos needed.
Acknowledged.
New construction options. Building. Construction complete. Our base is under attack. Building. Building. On hold.
Yes, sir.
Cancel.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Reporting.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Building.
Acknowledged.
Awaiting affirmative.
Our base is under attack. Construction complete. Building. Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Affirmative.
Construction complete. Unit ready. Building. Building. Unit ready. Building. Construction complete.
Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Reporting.
New
Affirmative.
construction options. Building. Unit ready. Building. Repairing. Repairing. Unit ready.
Reporting.
Building.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Report affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Affirmative.
Waiting order. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
题目直接杀进去了。
Construction complete. Unit ready. Building. New construction options. Our base is under attack. Repairing. Building. Unit ready. Construction complete.
Reporting.
Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
都喊压鼓，我靠，
Repairing.
被打
Yes,
烂了。
affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Our base is under attack.
Vehicle reporting.
Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Reporting. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Reporting. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, waiting order. Yes, waiting order. Yes, waiting order.
Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Spy plane ready.
哎，哦，我想说飞机飞不过去直接爆炸。
Mission saved.
粉碎敌人，
Repairing.
好，无悬念就是
Construction
坦克
complete.
做到底了。
Building. Iron curtain charging.
Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Building.
Waiting order. Waiting order.
Construction
Affirmative.
complete.
Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
哦，对了，
Building. Building.
Yes, affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready. Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
哎呀，从下面来，
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Construction complete. Spy plane ready.
Acknowledged. 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 Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
我家放射有炸，没事。
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Building. Our base is
Yes,
under
sir.
attack.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Awaiting orders.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
中间还有
Affirmative.
个小
Acknowledged.
岛，
Construction
Affirmative.
complete.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Cannot deploy here.
Yes, sir.
Building. Our base is under attack. Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
应该不用，
Vehicle reporting.
Acknowledged.
撸过去就好了。
Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Building. Construction complete.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building. Unit ready. Our base is under
Reporting.
attack.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Building.
Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
火
Building.
焰塔好用，
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
哎，
Unit ready. Building.
火焰塔
Acknowledged.
其实算蛮好用，
Unit ready.
我觉得它
Building.
比盟军的哨戒塔好用一点。
Construction complete. Our base is under attack.
马上来试试看。这跟伤害跟少剑塔比起来差太多了吧？少剑塔打坦克真的是小黄。
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Report affirmative.
打坦克电塔比较强嘛，肯定是电塔比较强。那克制载具，电塔是打什么都强，只是很耗电，150电。只不过他会从这边登陆，我也是有点不好弄。
Construction complete.
变化
Iron curtain ready. Low power.
power
Building.
building 贵的贵上
Construction complete.
他可不可以一路盖下？
Building.
我就直接这边盖一排，赶过来，我直接打
Construction
烂。
Vehicle
complete.
reporting. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
我不要堵到那个洞。它好像会，应该跟2代一样，是以它9宫格为方向去做。
Building.
Yes, acknowledged. Affirmative.
不要打我家的，
Affirmative.
要被打烂了。
Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir.
Construction
Acknowledged.
complete.
Vehicle reporting.
Spy plane ready.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Comrade. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
这个磁暴性圈它有个好处，不是好处，它的特性是电2下 CD 1次这样，直接按你电2下，叮叮，
Building.
Yes,
把
affirmative.
这边挖。
Construction complete. Building.
V2 吗？有啊
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
，V2 出电少，
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
不过它填弹真的
Affirmative.
要花比较多时间，
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
相比之下，长矛像坦克太猛，
Affirmative.
长矛像坦克太猛。
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit lost. Cannot deploy here. Building.
Comrade. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Silos.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
白痴啊！
Acknowledged.
想要打一打要断掉了。
Lost. Construction complete.
Awaiting orders.
Select target.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Iron curtain charging.
Reporting.
lost.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Silence
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
打过去，打过去，不管了，不管了。
Vehicle report. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit
Affirmative.
lost.
Comrade. Acknowledged. Reporting.
Unit lost.
Affirmative.
我靠，桥断掉了，
Acknowledged.
Unit
Affirmative.
lost.
真的
Acknowledged.
给我桥
Affirmative.
断掉了。
Acknowledged.
Silos
Acknowledged.
needed. Silos needed.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Lost.
Awaiting order.
Silos
Acknowledged.
needed.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Silos
Affirmative.
needed.
我觉得好可怜。
Unit lost.
Acknowledged.
什么都没比过，
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
真的防御都是个笑话。
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged.
Silos needed. Building.
Silos needed.
Building. Unit ready. Construction complete. Building. Construction complete. Unit ready. Building. Unit ready.
Awaiting
Unit
orders.
lost. Construction complete.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative.
Spy
Affirmative.
plane
Yes,
ready.
acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
这里还有
Affirmative.
西。
Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Building.
Waiting order. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge.
那
Affirmative.
这边都是上岸攻击。
Construction complete.
Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Oh,
Affirmative.
好啊，
Building. Construction
你
complete.
怎么走这边？有人走错路。
Building.
Yes,
哎、
sir.
我家的也走错路喽！靠！去哪里？看他跑去人家家里面采矿啊！
Construction
这是我
complete.
叫不回来。
Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Unit ready.
Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
那去
Unit
去
lost.
Comrade.
去玩了是不是？
Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Unit lost.
Acknowledge. 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 Acknowledge.
Base
Affirmative.
is under attack.
Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Iron
Acknowledge.
curtain ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledge. Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
无敌，只有一只啊，跟那个
Unit
光
lost.
中传送器一样，这一只。
Acknowledge. 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 Affirmative.
Our base is under attack.
Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Silos
Affirmative.
needed.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Silos
Affirmative.
needed.
Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Our base is under attack.
Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Affirmative.
Silos needed.
Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Silos needed. Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledge.
Building.
Affirmative.
人家的，怕出事情。
Mission
Waiting.
safe.
Acknowledge.
Unit ready.
Acknowledge. Acknowledge.
Our base is under attack. Unit
Acknowledge.
ready. Building.
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledge.
Building.
Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledge.
Building.
Acknowledge. Acknowledge.
Unit
Acknowledge.
ready. Building.
Acknowledge.
Unit
人
ready.
体之翼，
Building.
Acknowledge.
Our base is under attack.
Acknowledge.
Unit ready.
Acknowledge.
Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative.
Unit
Acknowledge.
ready.
Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Our base is under attack.
Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative.
瞬间
Acknowledge.
踏平。
Affirmative.
人家
Affirmative.
这代长矛像坦克对人是用飞弹打，
Acknowledge.
直接一击必杀，
Acknowledge.
比碾的还快。
Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Our base
这
is
太
under
过
attack.
分，
Affirmative. Acknowledge.
根本
Affirmative.
没有天敌啊！
Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative.
Select target. Reinforcements have arrived.
Yes, sir. At once. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit
他还
lost.
故意弄个点，这样
Yes,
在
sir.
上
Base
面
is
的
under attack. Select target.
Yes, sir. At
Unit
once.
lost.
Agreed. Yes, sir. Very well.
Yes, sir. Acknowledge.
Unit lost.
Affirmative.
夷为平地了。
Unit
左下角应
lost.
该没有那个地方可以走了。
Select target. Our base is under attack. Unit lost.
哎，打输了。 很难过。这边的话，应该只能靠高机飞机了。
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Construction complete.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Our base is under attack.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Iron curtain ready.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Our base is under attack.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Building.
飞机
Building. Construction complete. Spy plane ready. Unit ready. Building. Building. Construction complete. Our base is under attack. Unit ready. Building. Unit ready.
这边还在偷打。
Building.
一
Yes,
直
sir.
有声音
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Construction complete. Unit lost.
Vehicle
Building.
reporting.
Our base is under attack. Unit ready.
Very well.
Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative.
Construction complete.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Vehicle
Acknowledged.
reporting.
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Reporting. Acknowledged. At once. Very well.
Reporting. Acknowledged.
这边
Affirmative.
这边有箱子，有
Affirmative.
钱呢。
Comrade. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Building. Unit ready. Building. Unit
Waiting
ready.
order.
Construction complete. Building.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Yes, comrade. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
哎，对，
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
中间这边还没打
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, affirmative. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Reporting. Affirmative. Awaiting acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative.
Reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Vehicle reporting.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Silence.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
看到这边9公格，
Acknowledged.
9公格飞机这么狠，
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
然后叫飞机偷打我。
Silence.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged.
然后
Affirmative.
剩下上面那坨
Yes,
最
sir.
麻烦。
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Silos needed.
Awaiting orders.
这个小房子也算。
Silos needed. Building. Unit ready.
电力要不
Building.
够了，
Construction complete. Unit ready. Building. Building. Unit ready. Building. On hold. Construction complete.
被偷了
Building. Unit ready. Unit ready. Building.
Reporting.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building. Construction
Yes, sir.
complete. Unit
Acknowledged.
ready. Building. Building.
Waiting order.
Unit
Waiting
ready.
order.
Unit ready. Building.
난데
Unit ready. Building.
Reporting, comrade.
Primary building selected.
Waiting order.
Unit ready. Building.
我刚好换
Yes,
到
sir.
别的。
Yes, waiting order.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Select target. Select
不能用
target.
不能用敌军，可惜。
Yes, sir.
Naval
Affirmative.
unit lost.
Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged.
Naval unit lost.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, affirmative.
该不会这边
Select
还有？
target.
拜托不要。
Waiting order. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Select target.
Yes, sir.
Naval unit
Acknowledged.
lost. Iron curtain charging. Select target. Reinforcements have arrived.
Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Very well.
Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Very well.
At once. Agreed. At once. Affirmative. At once. Affirmative.
Very well. Very well.
Of course. Yes, sir. At once. Agreed. At once. Yes, sir. Affirmative. At once. Yes, sir.
Very well.
Mission accomplished.
哦，哒哒哒哒哒哒。哈哈，差不多。
Amazing, these English, how quickly they adapt. They must truly have been crying out for our victory. They have abandoned their old rulers faster than rats leading a sinking ship. We have done what no one else has dared. The Soviet Union stretches across the entire continent. We have liberated Europe at last. It's time to celebrate. See? But why not? When in Rome. Excellent. General, you have covered yourself in great honor. I will see to it personally that you are very well taken care of. Nadia, this tea is excellent.
Thank you. I prepared it myself.
Poison? You bitch.
You bastard pig! You'll never touch me with your filthy hands again.
哈，这边变成那个兄弟会了吗？
Well, General, this temporary chaos in Europe will only help to fuel the Brotherhood's cause.
真的，
For centuries, we have waited to emerge from the shadows, and now we will make ourselves
兄
known.
弟会突然泰博轮矿就降落了。
And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and took up residence in the land of Nod. You have done well to serve us, and for that, you should be rewarded. We estimate that the Brotherhood will tire of the USSR in the early 1990s. Until then, you will keep the peace. Fight our battles where you must, and you'll remain our loyal and obedient servant for the foreseeable future.
The foreseeable future. Comrade Chairman, I am the future.
当当，我玩一下他那个扩展战役哦。不是，那个泰伯伦的那个兵的操控比红警还差感觉。红警的操控还比较好。所以这个扩展任务差在哪里呢？
Добрый день, Sergeant. Меня зовут Topolov. General Topolov.
泰伯伦戏太多了，
Rad видеть, comrade.
戏傻了。
Your mission in the Ukraine is simple. Allied forces seek to challenge Soviet air supremacy. Right in our faces, they build MiG prototypes of their own. They test their new air fuel bomb. They test their chronosphere. The Govnyuks grow bold. There's got to be a settling of the score. Destroy the prototypes, but take the chronosphere. Purge the Ukraine of the Allied presence and the bastard behind the threat. Assassinate General Stavros, the Greek commander. До свидания. That is all.
Commander?
啊？哦？小游戏关卡，哦，这个小游戏关卡很难。哎、里面还有超多超时空科技，让他了解无论盟军刷什么，哎，他们这样能使用超时空机。
Yes, sir.
哦 ，Starlo。
Ready and waiting.
哦，
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Ready and
火
waiting
烧
once.
工程师。
Engineering. Affirmative.
小游戏关卡真的很麻烦。
Affirmative.
Reporting well.
哎，他去哪里了？
Engineering. Affirmative.
逼他走到这个位置。
Engineering.
Ready and waiting. Agreed. At once. Awaiting orders. Acknowledged.
Yes. Affirmative. Yes.
这个可以再
Affirmative.
重复启用，不知道去哪里。我跑在这里。塔罗夫，
Affirmative.
一个工作台只能启用一
Ready and
次。
waiting. Very well. Reporting. Agreed. Very well.
哎，后面还有人呢，
Affirmative.
再够
Affirmative.
混。
Yes, affirmative.
嗷嗷嗷嗷嗷嗷！
Affirmative. At once.
解下去有铁路装
Affirmative.
置。
Very well. Ready and waiting. Agreed. Agreed. Affirmative. Very well.
我干嘛要铁幕装置呢？
Affirmative. 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 Affirmative.
这人用了铁幕装置就爆开了。
Affirmative. 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 Affirmative.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative. Engineering. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Engineering. Yes, affirmative.
它
Affirmative.
是会跑掉。
Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Agreed. At once. Affirmative. Affirmative. Agreed. Very well. Very well. Affirmative. Very well. Agreed. Very well. At once. Affirmative.
都要爆掉。
Affirmative. At once.
他打了之后就输掉。
Mission
At
saved.
once.
好
Affirmative.
打不动。
Reinforcements have
Waiting
arrived.
orders.
哎，
Ready
狗
and
狗
affirmative.
抓他！
Unit lost.
Affirmative.
嗯？啊，他不是死了，
Awaiting orders.
假的。
Very well. Affirmative. At once. Ready and waiting.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. At once. Agreed. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Agreed. Agreed. At once. Affirmative. Affirmative. At once. At once. Awaiting orders. At once. Affirmative. At once. Affirmative. Agreed. Affirmative. At once.
武道不够毒气，
Agreed. At once. At once. Very well. Very well. At once. Very well. Affirmative. At once. At once. Reporting. Affirmative. Very well. Yes, sir. At once. Very well. Affirmative. Reporting. At once. Affirmative. Very well. Affirmative. Very well. Agreed. Affirmative. Agreed. Affirmative.
Engineering. Affirmative. Affirmative. Engineering.
Agreed.
炸掉了。
Agreed.
哦，
At once. Agreed. Acknowledged. At once. Affirmative.
啊，他那个毒气只要不要碰到就好了。
At once. Very
算
well.
算一个小格
Affirmative.
子。
Agreed. Very well. Affirmative. Very well. Reporting.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
该不会这真的是要拿来战？那给我2个工程师好像是拿来
Affirmative.
战。
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Engineering. Affirmative.
Mission saved.
Affirmative. At once. Very well. Affirmative.
Engineering. Affirmative. Engineering.
哦，传过来
Affirmative.
了。
Affirmative. 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 Affirmative.
Reinforcements have arrived.
还有 reinforcement。
Yes, sir. Agreed. Affirmative. At once. Agreed.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Affirmative.
Ready and waiting. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Reporting. Very well. Affirmative. Affirmative. Agreed. Yes, sir. Very well. Agreed. Very well. Agreed.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Awaiting orders. Affirmative. Very well. Affirmative.
Unit
Eh.
lost.
At once. Very well.
透明的。
Very well. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Agreed.
那
Affirmative.
个烟
Affirmative.
不见了还有毒，
At once. Agreed. Very well. Affirmative. At once.
直接变
Very
成
well.
无色
Very
无
well.
味。
Reporting. Agreed.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
太过
Affirmative.
分了吧？
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Very well. Affirmative. 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 Very well. Affirmative. Agreed. Affirmative. Very well. Awaiting orders. Very well. Affirmative.
没了，
Affirmative. Very well. Affirmative. Agreed. Affirmative. Very well. Agreed. Affirmative. Very well.
Affirmative. Reporting
Yes, sir.
affirmative. Waiting orders. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ready and waiting. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Of course. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Agreed. Affirmative. Agreed. Very well.
Engineering.
Report once. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Yes, ready and waiting. Awaiting orders. Very well.
Engineering. Affirmative.
Ready and waiting.
Engineering. Affirmative. Engineering.
Ready and waiting. Agreed. Affirmative. 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 Agreed.
哪里？那这边要怎么过来？
Engineering. Affirmative. 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 Engineering. Affirmative.
For centuries we have waited to emerge from the shadows, and now we will make ourselves known.
Engineering. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Affirmative.
Ready and waiting. Very well. Affirmative. At once. Affirmative. 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 Affirmative.
这可以打吗？
At
这里
once.
打不动。
Very well. Awaiting orders. Agreed.
Engineering. Affirmative. Affirmative.
完了，换我西多了，现在怎么办？
Affirmative.
现在是要怎么办？
Affirmative. 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 Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Affirmative.
Yes, I will.
是那中间有毒气
Reporting.
啊！
Reporting. Once. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Very well. Agreed. Yes, I will. Affirmative. At once.
中间过不去啊！
Yes. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
会不会中间那个是最后步骤？
Yes, sir. Agreed.
Mission loaded.
Yes, sir.
工
Once.
程师
Agreed.
那边好像最后
Affirmative.
一步骤。
Affirmative. Affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative. Very well.
Yes. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Affirmative.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Agreed. At once. Agreed.
Engineering.
哦，所以我还要先找
Affirmative.
找对的地方进去，这样我
Affirmative.
们
Acknowledged.
Yes, sir.
Reporting well. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
好啊，也不是这样。小游戏关真
Mission
是
loaded.
解谜游戏，
Yes. Affirmative. Engineering. Affirmative.
Ready and waiting. Affirmative. Affirmative. At once. Affirmative.
打不动。工程师这两只，但是要顺便叫我
Reinforcements have arrived.
把超时空科技全部弄完。
Yes, sir. Very well. Awaiting orders. Reporting. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Agreed. Agreed. At once. Agreed. Very well. Agreed. Affirmative. At once. Very well. Very well. Very well. Agreed. Reporting. At once. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. 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 At once. Affirmative. Very well. Affirmative. Very well. Agreed. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Very well. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. At once. Affirmative. Agreed. Affirmative. Agreed. Reporting at once. Yes, sir. At once. Very well.
Engineering. Affirmative.
Awaiting orders. Affirmative. Very well. At once. At once. Very well. Agreed. Affirmative. Affirmative. At once. Affirmative. Agreed.
Engineering. Affirmative. 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 Yes. Affirmative.
哦，没有用。
Affirmative. 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 Affirmative.
Yes, sir. At once. Affirmative. Very well. Very well. Agreed.
这下子是要玩什么？
Ready and waiting. At once.
这个我也来不及。
Awaiting orders. At once. Affirmative.
Everything scorched earth. Give him help.
Ready and waiting.
Yes. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Affirmative.
Engineering. Affirmative. 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 Affirmative.
我怎么传过去？
Engineering.
Mission
Yes.
saved.
Affirmative.
我
Engineering.
要把它炸掉。
Reinforcements have arrived.
Reporting. At once. Affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative. Agreed. Affirmative.
Engineering. Affirmative. 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 Affirmative.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Very well. At once. Very well.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. 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 Engineering. Affirmative.
Reporting. Affirmative. Of course. Affirmative. Affirmative. Of course. Affirmative. At once.
声音都有
Agreed. Yes, sir. Affirmative. At once. Affirmative. Report. Agreed. 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 At once. Agreed. Agreed. At once. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Ready and waiting. Affirmative. At once. Very well. Affirmative. Agreed.
刚看不懂啊，哪里呀？
Report. Affirmative.
Engineering. Affirmative.
What the
Engineering.
fuck？
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
没用啊！
Affirmative. 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 Affirmative.
还是说他那个要修好？
Reinforcements have arrived.
Yes. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
有可能要修好它。
Mission loaded.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Engineering. Affirmative.
哎，修好了还是不好？
Engineering. Affirmative. 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 Affirmative.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Yes. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Awaiting orders. Reporting. At once. Yes, sir.
都没有曝光过。
Yes. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
死掉还
Waiting
没
orders.
mission fail，
Agreed. Very well.
那是卡那个将军的 bug 是不
Agreed.
是？
At once. Of course.
Battle control terminated.
Hmm? 占领超
Yes,
时
sir. At
空，
once. Ready and agreed.
然后是
Affirmative.
占领超时
Yes, sir.
空。
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Very well. At once. Very well. At once. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged.
Quickly plotting，
Affirmative.
New construction options.
Waiting orders. Very well.
Building.
Agreed.
Construction complete. New construction options.
Affirmative. At
Building.
once. Very well. Very well. Agreed. Very
拓
well.
展
At
任务不
once.
知道
Yes, sir. Of course. Affirmative. Affirmative. At
不
once.
知道它的科技力大概到多少。
Construction complete. New construction options. Building.
Yes, sir. Very well. Agreed. Agreed. Affirmative.
Agree，没什么钱，
Yes, sir. Very well. Affirmative.
On hold.
没钱。
Cancel.
Ready. Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative. At once. Affirmative. Affirmative. Very well. At once. Affirmative. At once. Very well.
Nani?
At once.
Our base is under attack.
Very well. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Very well.
Construction
At
complete.
once. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Repairing. Building.
Yes, sir. Agreed. At once. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Agreed. Very well. Affirmative. Affirmative. Very well. Very well. Agreed. Very well. At once. Affirmative. At once. Agreed. Affirmative. Very well.
Construction complete. New construction options. Building.
Acknowledged. Reporting. Awaiting orders. Agreed. Affirmative. Agreed. Very well. Affirmative.
Construction
At once.
complete.
Agreed.
因为还有钱。
New construction options. Low power.
Ready.
Building.
Affirmative.
Construction complete. Building.
哎，
Reporting.
小偷，
Affirmative.
看到小偷
Very well.
了，
At once. Agreed.
这次你偷不到了。
Construction complete. New construction options.
铁幕装置，
Building.
看有什么
Building
东西可以用。差
Construction
点被偷
complete.
家。
New construction options. Unit ready. Building.
Report. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
诶，那这把
Building
没有那个。诶，工厂做了进阶发电厂，兵。那这把
Unit
没有
ready
机场。
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
啊？
Affirmative.
哦
Acknowledged.
哦，
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
大概破图片射2颗火球出去了，
Acknowledged.
白痴。
Building.
Waiting orders. Affirmative.
哦，
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
那
Yes,
种
sir. Affirmative.
双管坦克炮变成那个变成火焰炮了，
Silos needed.
他是给我改啊，这么酷的吗？
Silos needed. Building. Construction complete. Building. Construction
我
complete.
刚才不知道满多久啊。
Reporting. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
那这样比较
Acknowledged.
像那个2代天启
Affirmative.
3星的天启，
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
火箭弹是附
Affirmative.
加
Acknowledged.
爆炸，
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Building. Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Construction complete.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready.
我们打坦克应该没有那么厉害
Yes, sir.
对
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
怪
Affirmative.
怪的。打人有时候用飞弹，有时候用炮弹
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Report acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Building.
都打我家，
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Waiting order. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Waiting orders. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Acknowledged.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready. Building.
应该走过去。
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Building.
Waiting order. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Waiting order. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
哇，
Affirmative.
那火炮
Acknowledged.
距离也这么远，
Affirmative. Vehicle reporting.
距离好远。
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
图，
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
直升机，
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
帮我找
Affirmative.
高速
Acknowledged.
找上去，
Affirmative.
Mission
Affirmative.
safe.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Waiting order. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged.
哇，我
Affirmative.
真的
Acknowledged.
要转海上，
Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged.
真的只能转成海上。
Building.
Yes, affirmative. Ready and waiting. Yes, sir.
Construction complete.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Building. Construction complete. Building. Construction complete.
哇，范围怎么那么小？
Building.
Waiting order. Waiting orders.
Construction complete.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
OK，
Affirmative.
盖过来，
Acknowledged.
盖过来，慢慢盖过来。
Building. Construction complete. New construction options. Building. Unit ready.
Vehicle reporting.
Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
啊，就在隔壁家，
Affirmative.
隔一条河。
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Building.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
On hold.
Acknowledged.
Cancel.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Affirmative.
隔一
Unit
条
ready.
河，这样有意
Acknowledged.
思。
Affirmative.
不是拿过
Acknowledged.
来。
Waiting order.
Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
On hold. Building. Unit ready.
Reporting. Yes, sir, comrade. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Reporting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir, comrade. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Waiting order. Affirmative. 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 Yes, sir. Comrade. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. 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 Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Reporting. Comrade. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. 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 Waiting order. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Waiting order. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
关地怎么这
Affirmative.
么崎岖？
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Comrade. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Vehicle affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
哇，那一个士兵直接挡一台坦克，
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
超
Acknowledged.
级士兵。虽然如此，但是他也是挡不过一发
Affirmative.
占领他，
Training.
他也是挡不过坦克的碾啊！
Mission
Yes, sir.
saved.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Training.
哎，
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
他这个
Training
皮给人家碾，
Unit ready. Training.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Training.
OK，
Comrade
这样
affirmative.
应该可以。
Unit ready. Training.
Engineering. Affirmative.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready.
那扩展任务好像有些特殊小兵，
Reporting. Vehicle reporting. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Mission accomplished.
"额外相簿。
Reinforcements have arrived.
哦，他额外
Battle control
额
terminated.
外的扩展任务没有太多主线，全部都是文字简报，有介绍。
Kamerad, Здравствуйте. I must speak quickly. These things I am telling you, I am not. Somewhere in our office, in my office, there is a leak. Critical intelligence is reaching the Allied forces in Austria. Now, our key European command center has been infiltrated. Our hidden cargo routes are threatened. Our tactical subpens are attacked, and the Allied Govniaks are even producing our classified new armor plating using a formula stolen from my office. Destroy what they've stolen, and get the Allied idiots out of my face. This is bad for me. Very bad. До свидания.
一神降临，机械降神，车子就是4个雷达。那有遭遇战不知道打起来怎么样？中等电脑困难，中等电脑。可以选4力耶，它还是可以选4力，只不过这游戏可以选4力。步兵额外10%护甲伤害速度，哇！速度提升10%，价格提升10%，但建造速度不会加快。只有2个是那个苏联军。额外10%射程，10%护甲，10%伤害。盟军这么狠啊！速度提升10%，是包含移动速度。我觉得价格蛮赚的。用户地图官方8人图，超大。
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
New construction options.
Reporting.
Building.
Yes, sir.
没
Affirmative.
打输电脑吗？
Ready and waiting.
Construction complete. New construction options.
Report
Building.
affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
在
Affirmative.
边
Affirmative.
上那个位
Acknowledge.
置。
Affirmative. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
只是犀牛
Affirmative.
坦克压过去
Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Affirmative.
减10%。
Comrade. Acknowledge.
所以普通难度的下潜就是
Construction complete.
它原本基本下潜
New construction options.
1000磅。
Building.
Waiting orders. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. 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 Affirmative.
那遭遇战怎么看起来比较 比泰尔伯人精致多了。
Construction complete. Building. Construction complete. New construction options. Building.
Yes, sir. Very well. Agreed. 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 Affirmative.
该不会派那该死的飞机过来
Affirmative. At once. Affirmative. Agreed. Affirmative. Agreed. Very well. At once. Affirmative. At once. Affirmative. At once. Very well. Affirmative. At once. Affirmative. Awaiting orders. At once.
Construction
Very well.
complete. New construction options. Low power.
Yes,
Building.
acknowledged. Affirmative.
Silos needed.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Building. Training.
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Training.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Construction complete. New construction options. Building. Unit ready. Training. Building.
Awaiting
Unit
orders.
ready.
Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Very well.
Training.
Report. Agreed.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit
Acknowledged.
ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Our base is under attack.
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Building.
快
Affirmative.
过来，
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
这好痛、哦，
Vehicle reported.
Construction
Acknowledged.
complete.
Acknowledged.
被打这么痛，
New construction options.
Affirmative.
Silos
哎、
needed.
有自爆坦克，
Unit ready. Building.
现在一
Low
点四七，
power.
Affirmative.
Silos needed.
Acknowledged.
On hold. Cancel. Building.
Affirmative.
Repairing.
有自爆坦
Comrade.
克
Acknowledged.
了，
Affirmative.
而且别人怎么找得到我家？
Affirmative.
Silence
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
这是作弊
Acknowledged.
的敌
Affirmative.
人，完全不用看。飞弹发射井，
Building.
Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit lost. Construction
Okay, then,
complete.
我刚刚好被我发现。
Building.
Huh? Huh?
Unit ready. Building.
为什么？五是苏联吗？怎么会有弹牙？
Report acknowledged.
Construction complete.
快快的，
Building. Unit ready.
Yes, affirmative.
Building.
Comrade.
Construction complete. New construction
Yes,
options.
sir. Acknowledged.
Low power. Unit
你
ready.
的伤害会不会太痛一点？
Acknowledged.
哇，
Acknowledged.
好痛啊！
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
我是被偷电
Unit
是不是？
ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Report acknowledged. Reporting. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Training.
Vehicle acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Waiting contact. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Awaiting acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes,
Spy plane
affirmative.
ready.
该撸过去。
Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Agreed.
苏联怎么会有弹牙啦？一个
Awaiting
很
orders. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Low
Acknowledged.
power.
Affirmative.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready.
Acknowledged.
Building. Select target. Unit ready. Construction complete.
找到了，
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Building.
对面是不是有核弹井？地点蓄力。
Awaiting orders. Affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Reporting. Very well.
Select target. Reinforcements have arrived.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Agreed.
Spy plane
Very
ready.
well.
Unit lost.
Awaiting orders. Acknowledged. Very well. Agreed.
我是瞬间被秒杀了。
Low
Of
power.
course.
Unit
Yes, sir.
lost.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Of course. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Unit
At
lost.
once. Yes, sir. Of course. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Construction
Affirmative.
complete.
Affirmative.
现在敌人
Yes,
是
sir.
正常，
Unit lost.
伤害是
At
正常。
once. Yes, sir. Of course.
Unit lost.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Silos needed. Unit lost.
Yes, sir.
Construction options.
Awaiting orders.
Silos
Acknowledged.
needed. Building.
Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Affirmative.
Spy plane ready.
Acknowledged.
Silos needed.
Affirmative.
Construction
Wow.
complete.
Yes, sir.
什么
Affirmative.
东西
Unit
打这么
lost.
快，直接把我的
Unit lost.
打烂了。
Building.
有爆破坦克了。
Building.
不是那主线里面没有东西玩，然后结果东西都在
Select target.
这里。
Yes, acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Yes, affirmative.
好玩
Waiting
的东
acknowledged.
西在这
Affirmative.
里。
Affirmative.
爆破卡车、自爆坦克、克制建筑物。
Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Construction complete.
Acknowledged.
Reporting.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building. Iron curtain charging. Low power.
没电。
Building. Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Construction
Goodbye.
complete.
Waiting order.
Spy plane
Acknowledged.
ready.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit lost. Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
2000块，
Yes, sir.
那
Affirmative.
超贵的。
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
直接没钱修啊！
Reinforcements have arrived. Unit lost.
Waiting
Yes,
orders.
sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
只是少一只。
Awaiting orders. Acknowledged.
Building.
好像还是要一点 V2 去打。
Vehicle acknowledged.
Unit lost. Unit ready. Building.
他应该没有核弹。不对，他是盟军，他连超时空传送器都没做。
Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Installation funds. Select target. Unit ready.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Construction complete. Building. Construction complete.
这应该不能多做好几颗。
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Report. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Spy plane ready.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Comrade. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, yes. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
到底是谁打人？怎么像坦克？
Iron curtain ready. Silos
快
needed.
乐的时光。
A bomb prepping. A bomb launch detected. Silos needed.
Okay.
Select target. Reinforcements have arrived.
Reporting, yes, sir. Vehicle
Silos
reporting. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Waiting for orders.
Silos needed.
Yes, yes. Affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Lost.
Acknowledged. Reporting.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir.
Silos needed.
Yes, yes.
Silos needed. Select target.
Yes, sir. Waiting.
Iron curtain charging.
Waiting for
Unit
orders.
lost.
Acknowledged.
Silos needed. Silos needed. Unit lost. Silos needed. Unit lost. Unit lost. Silos needed. Silos needed. Building. Unit ready. Building. Unit lost. Unit ready. Building.
彩色招牌。
Unit lost. Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, yes. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
然后没钱了还出小兵。
Reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Silos needed.
Vehicle report. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Silos
Acknowledged.
needed. Building. Construction complete. Building. Construction complete. Building. Construction complete. Building. Construction complete.
Waiting for order. Awaiting orders. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
看到有什么哦？经济
Building.
Reporting. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Tank deployed. Unit lost.
自爆坦克。
Construction
他
complete.
这个能力应该是，他这个能
A
力发展
bomb
大。
ready.
我靠，好猛！
Yeah, okay.
Iron curtain ready. Unit lost. New construction options.
运输直升机，那很多功能都跟
Select target. A bomb launch detected. A bomb ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Select target. Iron curtain charging.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Mission accomplished.
哦，遭遇战，扩展战役，扩展战役有的都没有介绍，这个。
We got a hostage situation, all right. We've got a hostage situation that involves every major Allied research scientist. But suppose we free these hostages. Then it's even worse. We've got hot spots everywhere, Colonel. This is Poland. I've got super tanks on my tail, mad tanks. I've got nukes pointed at London. And in the middle of all this, I've got a Soviet research scientist I've got to evac. And then there's the little matter of running the Soviet army out of Poland. I hope you took care of business before you got the car, Colonel. Because, son, you're in one hell of a ride. Take a good long look, Major, because you'll be attacking that harbor at dawn. The Soviets are baby steps away from developing secret-ground missiles. Once those missiles...
哦，该休息了。啊，这样一代好像都差不多了，除了那个扩展任务之外。那明天要开二代。然后二代那个要调一下解析度，怕它主选单的时候太小，进游戏画面又太大。啊，明天再来弄啦。晚安啦，晚安啦，炸酱面，晚安了6V9，大家拜拜。